So strumming, today's topic, pretty
Yeah,
interesting one, pretty useful one as well. So and pretty deep one.
Hey there, I'm Steve Stine from GuitarZoom.com.
Okay, there we go.
who
I think we are. Yep,
was that?
that was Steve. Hey there, Steve Stein from GuitarZoom. Okay, awesome. What do you have in mind for today's topic on strumming, Miguel?
Yeah, let's go through a little bit the kind of the mechanics of it and give you guys a couple of tips on how to understand how strumming works so you don't have to rely on strumming patterns, right? So usually when we learn a song, you might learn it together with a strumming pattern, kind of very specific strumming pattern, like down, 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 up, or down, down, up, down, down, up, down. And all that has uh, a very specific logic and kind of a mechanic that comes with the right hand. So we're going to work a lot with the right hand today. And yeah, so that's what we're going to talk about today, strumming. And strumming, it's quite important for the guitar because it's a very guitaristic technique. It's very unique for this instrument. There's not many other instrument that can strum. Other guitar like instruments, maybe like banjo or the mandolin, but other than that, it's a very guitaristic technique. So it's great to know these mechanics of how it works, because it's something that should flow and be kind of like a second nature to us guitar players. So before we start and we go deep into this topic, so some of you are already familiar with the speech, but yeah, we are part of the GuitarZoom Academy. Juan and I, we are both instructors here in the academy, and we work personally with students from different parts of the world, pretty much mostly here in the US. And this kind of lesson that we're going to give today is part of what we do in a daily basis here at the GuitarZoom Academy, together with personalized assessment and feedback to the students. So if this is something that interests you, we're going to be leaving a link. So yeah, Juan already posted the link in the chat, so you can click on that link, and it will ask you a couple of questions, so you can have a conversation with us, and we'll be happy for you to join the academy and learn more about this and get a personalized program for you. Okay, so let's start with this. So what is strumming? So strumming is when we play a chord with in this fashion, right? So we're not plucking the strings, we're not playing single notes, so it's kind of like an arpeggio, but quite fast. And usually creates a rhythm, creates a groove that it's very much used to accompany songs. Most of the time we will be using this to accompany songs, right? And it's what we do most of the time, actually, as guitar players. As much as we might like, playing solos and and being on the spotlight, probably 90% of the time we'll be playing accompaniment and probably strumming the guitar. So how do we start with that, though? One of the main things that we need to be able to do to strum is finding the beat of whatever song we're playing. So let me put here. I'm going to grab just one of these backing tracks that we have in the GuitarZoom Academy, so we avoid any copyright claims, and we can play around with the rhythm. So the first step will be find the beat. How do we find the beat? So usually it comes very naturally. It's what we will nod our head at. Let me turn down the volume a little bit. What we might tap our foot. Right, that's kind of the first step. So getting familiarized with the rhythm of the song. When you get the drums, it might become more clear to you. And for example, you might be feeling this, and that's totally fine. But we can try, for example, double the time. Will be like this. Right? That feels a little better to me, more in line with the groove of the song. We could do even faster, double than this. We're still in time with the song, but it might feel a little too fast. So this feels quite right to me. Let's try it now with a different track. So let's see, something different vibe, different style, different tempo. So try yourself to find that beat. So I'm already getting into it. So we'll be here, right? And we will start just playing down strums with our right hand. You can do it, just with your fingers. If you play with a pick, it will be the exact same thing. All down strums. A very relaxed hand. It comes mostly from here, from the elbow. A little bit of wrist movement as well. It's not like this. This will be just wrist. Be sure to engage your elbow. Okay, so once we're there, playing all those downs, we can count this. So it will play like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. So you're playing all the down beats, right? That's what we're playing, the down beats. So in between all these down beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, we can squeeze what's in between. So what's in between the down beats is the up beats. So if we were playing 1, 2, 3, 4, in between we have the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So all the ends will be upstrokes, right? So if we play those upstrokes, we'll get something like this. So 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Alright, so now we're playing all the subdivisions with every beat. So together with the backing track. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. And with the upbeats. This will be a first step to getting familiarized with the rhythms, with the beat, with the strumming. And what I'm doing now, you might have noticed I'm not even playing any chord. I'm not fretting anything. So I'm just muting my strings. This is what we call scratching. and it's a very nice way to practice strumming, because you can practice over any song, and it doesn't matter if you know the chords or not, because we're just working our right hand or our strumming hand. Maybe you're left-handed. Our strumming hand, and yeah, just working with the rhythm. So this is already an exercise that you can, spend some time, try with different songs, different genres, different tempos, and see how it goes. If you can find that those downbeats, play around with the rhythm. You have anything to add, Juan, to that?
Yes, a
These
little bit.
first steps of getting into strumming.
Yeah, definitely. I just want to, for now, just highlight what you said at the beginning, and it's that strumming is a very important technique of guitar. Like, I hadn't really thought about how important it is until you mentioned it, and it's like, wow, we do actually spend most of our time as guitar players just playing chords and strumming. So that's something
Yeah,
to pay attention to. I hadn't really thought about it that way, but it's like that indeed. So yeah, with that said, strumming is basically just picking all of the strings on a swift motion. Obviously, there's a bit of an offset between every string, right? But the faster or stronger you go on your hand, the more simultaneous it will sound. I'm just trying to break it down initially so we understand what's going on. Again, strumming is just picking all of the strings on one specific direction. It can be down or it can be up. And I'm saying there's an offset in between strings because there's an audible difference in between a downstroke and an upstroke. And it's because of that. On the downstroke, you're hitting first the bottom strings and then the top ones. And it works backwards on the upstroke. You first hit the top strings and then the bottom ones. Now, this is something I would like to dive in a little bit later, but we can also play around with the speed of our strum. So it can be fast or it can be slow. Same thing for the upstroke. Or that will suggest different expressive effects depending on the repertoire we're playing. I do sometimes do stuff like, I don't know, like a very slow strum because I want that very deep sound, but this is still a downstroke. It's just a very slow one. So again, that's just a little nuance that this has. Now, with that in mind, yeah, I think the main two movements that we need to take into account are downstrokes and upstrokes. For now, I think a very sound advice that Miguel is doing is take a look at every or any repertoire you're listening or working on and try to identify just the beat. That's gonna be the most important part here. This has a lot to do with rhythm and timing. So just try to determine what's that thing that you can move your body to on the song you're listening. For copyright reasons, we can't really share any specific songs. But yeah, I always think of Billie Jean. So Billie Jean from Michael Jackson has that specific bass line and so on. So it has this specific beat. So you hear that bass line, and you already can move your head or tap something to that beat. So try to get a hold of that using downstrokes. Also, little parenthesis, I feel for guitar playing, it's always very natural to do downstrokes. Although upstrokes are obviously still very important and natural, I feel the most natural thing to do always is to pick downwards. So yeah, if you're just starting on this stuff, I would say the same thing that Miguel said. Take a look at any song you're practicing or any track, just do downstrokes to the beat. It's gonna be important just to get used to having that timing down, to getting used to the motion that you're doing on your guitar. All of that stuff is pretty important. Now, with that said, I would just like to expand a little bit on that. So basically what we did was this. Now I'm taking this a little bit out of context, not thinking of a specific song or anything, but just trying to think of the motions we were doing just as an exercise. So on the tracks that Miguel shared, we were using a time signature called 4/4, which has 4 beats to it. It's a cycle that goes like 1, 2, 3, 4, and starts again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and again 1, 2, 3, 4. So for each one of these numbers, we have a downstroke. Now, if something is going down, in order to repeat that downwards motion, we need to move our hands up as well, right? So when we do the upstroke, our hand goes up again to do the new downstroke, and so on. It's kind of a circular motion, right? Down, up, down, up, down, up. Although the up is being on the air, you're still moving your hand upwards. With that said, once you're familiar with doing these 4 beats in a row with just downstrokes, I think it's also a good idea to fill those in-between spaces, those up beats Miguel was talking about, with upstrums. So 1 and 2, and so I would start 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Once you're comfortable there, 2 and 3 and 4. Right, my hand is still moving at the same rate at any of those 2 exercises. It's just that on one of them I'm just doing an upstroke kind of in the air, and on the other one I'm actually touching the strings. That's the only difference. But my hand is always moving at that speed, doing both motions, right? So yeah, I think that's a good exercise. Once you're comfortable on the track you were practicing this strumming, just doing downstrokes, it could be a good idea to incorporate those upstrokes as well, to do those 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let's go back to that graphic for a second. We also recently hosted a class on rhythm notation, so in case you guys were there, that's gonna be familiar. In case you were not, basically, rhythm figures represent how long is a sound or a rest gonna be, and this is relative to the beats of a song. So for instance, this graphic that I'm doing right here is called a quarter note. That means that a specific sound will last 1 beat on that context where we're starting. So if my speed right here is 1, 2, 3, 4, that's my quarter notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, what we were saying just a second ago was that in between each beat we will have something called upbeats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So those, if we play those on our strumming, that will become eighth notes. So those ones look like this. And an eighth note means that we can fit 2 notes in a single beat. That's why we're doing 1 and 2, and those or every one of these sounds will fit on a single beat. So with that said, let's do this. These rhythms that I'm writing are on the color green. So the one on top is just quarter notes. Let's call this number 1, and the one on the bottom is eighth notes. Let's call this number 2. So what I would do is this. For every beat we're gonna do a downstroke, and for every upbeat we're gonna do an upstroke. So if I play exercise number 1 or rhythm number 1, that sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Rhythm number 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Number 1, just quarter notes. Number 2, just eighth notes. So can you guys see how my hand on both scenarios is moving at the same speed? What changes is that on the second one I am indeed using the upstrokes, but my hand is always doing this motion, right? This is constant. So that's the first thing I would practice, both on your own, just to get used to the mechanics of that, and then over different backing tracks. As Miguel was saying, try different styles, different tempos, different keys as well, although we're not using chords yet. I just feel it's important to change context so we develop that listening skill on timing and rhythm. So that's just the beginning of it. So far, is that making sense? Let us know, guys, if there are any questions or comments, both here on Zoom and on YouTube. And yeah, just let us know. We would love to hear from you. If there's nothing else, just let's continue. So Miguel, what else do you have in mind?
Yeah, so maybe now that we know that, how are we going to play our down beats and our up beats, playing the quarter notes, the eighth notes. We can start creating, some strumming patterns from with keeping that idea in mind. So, for example, let me share here my screen. So, for example, now I'm combining both. So I'm combining quarter notes. So when we're just playing the downs, those were the quarter notes, and the eighth notes. That will be the second one, right? That is when we play both the down and the up. So the one and the one and. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So I'm combining both. So I'm playing here. You could count this as 1, 2 and 3, 4 and. That's a way to count. So we'll be playing 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4. Right, so and as one set. So even though here I'm just playing one note, I'm still doing the my hands traveling down and then going back up to play this downbeat again. So the strumming directions will look like this. So this down, it's only the chord because it's down, up, down, down, up. Will look like this. So down, down, up, down, down, up. If you pay attention to my right hand, it looks exactly the same as when you play just this, just downbeats, or down, up, with the subdivision in between. Now I'm going to play the pattern that we just wrote. If you see my hand, it's all the time moving down, up, keeping that beat. And then we can get creative with this and try different patterns. For example, just by using these two rhythmic patterns, the quarter notes and eighth notes, we can come up with a lot of different combinations. For example, this, that's another option. So one quarter note, then all eight notes. So we will add here an up. So we will have down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down. So 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. For example, or how about something like this? So now we have the subdivision kind of in the middle, and the downbeats alone at the extreme. So we'll have 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. So it's a good idea to practice different combinations, so you'll be building kind of your rhythmic vocabulary with strumming, because then we're going to move to a point that we don't want to think on these patterns, something that we call the organic strumming. That is when you're just following the rhythm of the song. But if you don't have rhythmic vocabulary, it will be a little bit more difficult. But if you already played many of these different combinations. It will be all those rhythms will come more easily because you will be familiar with those. Those will be part of your vocabulary. So again, just with this 8 notes and quarter notes, you can come up with a lot of different combinations for that. Then the next step for after playing around with not just quarter notes and 8 notes, for me it would be trying more syncopated rhythms. So what is syncopated rhythms is when you skip some downbeats. So now we're always playing the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4. Even if we're adding in between the ands, so the 2 and, for example, the 3 and here, we're always playing that 1, 2, 3, and 4. So when we talk about syncopation, it's when we skip the downbeats. So for example, what I can do is do something like this. So I'm adding a slower, so that means that we won't play this note, but we will hold this rhythm for the length of this other rhythmic value. So we will play 1, 2, and the 3 we won't play, but we will play the 3 and. So it will sound something like this. So 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So you see, I'm skipping that 3 and not playing it. So 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So this adds now another dimension to our strumming, and even more combinations, to the same rhythms that we were playing before. So for example, we can add here more of these 8 notes. Let me just go back here to the rhythmic notation so everything looks good. No, it's not looking good. Let me go back like that. Okay. So I have to do this. That's it. So for example, like this. So now we have all the subdivisions. So we have the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, but we're merging these two. So I'm merging the 2 and with the 3. So this will sound 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So I'm just skipping one note, right? So another way of seeing this will be like this. Maybe this is even more clear visually. So we're playing 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4. So we're skipping that 3, but again, one more time, the important thing here is to keep this down, up, and here, even if we're not playing that 3, we still need to play in the air that down with our strumming hand to keep this motion. So sometimes we say, in students that they will play this with a down because it will be like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then that's when the mechanic of the strumming hand kind of gets messed up, and then it's difficult to come back to that rhythm. But if you keep this going on, always the downs and ups, even when you're not playing, then you will never be out of rhythm. It will be easier to keep time, and then you can play around again, kind of deleting some of these, adding more maybe, and with this in mind of always keeping this down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So for me, that would be kind of a next step, adding these syncopated rhythms. Right? Do you have anything to add there, Juan?
No, basically just to stress that I also like to be very strict with the directions of my strumming. I like to always alternate them. And yeah, if you don't, it's gonna be easy to confuse yourself on the measure and the beat.
Yeah.
For instance, I was just thinking of the strumming pattern of a song called Wonderwall. I'm not gonna play the chords, but the strumming goes like this. So at first, it has a very long kind of strum, right? There's a lot of space in between that first stroke and the next one. So da 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 da. So when I play that, although this needs to sound long, my hand is always still moving on that alternating motion. Right? I'm always doing this. So even if I'm playing them on the strings or on the air, my hand is always doing that, and that way I'm sure that I'm always on the beat. Right? So I'm doing down, up, but I'm just doing down. The rest of them are in the air. Down, up, down, right? So yeah, as you can see, my hand is always doing this motion. That's the same thing that I do for funk. Funk also has very funny rhythms, very syncopated rhythms. So yeah, I'm just giving an example. Right? My hand is always going. I'm always doing this, even if it's on the strings, on the air. That constant alternating motion of your hand will help you stay grounded on the pattern you're doing. Specifically for those ones that are more complex than others, it's gonna help you a lot down the line. Now, with that said, I also just wanted to mention something real quick that we haven't. So far, we have gone more into the technical side of let's do down here, let's go up here, let's identify the beats, but we haven't talked so much about how to execute it. So far, I think we have not talked about pick or fingers. That's something important as well because they both suggest different tones. So I would suggest also do a little bit of an exploration on the tone you're looking for or the tone that the song you're playing has. So for instance, it's different to do a strum using your pick. It has like very bright tone to it. Then maybe your thumb. The thumb has a, I would say, warmer but a little bit darker sound versus pick, which is brighter and crispier. Warm, crispy. Those are the adjectives I would say. You define your own, but yeah, there's a notable difference between using your thumb and your pick and your fingernails as well. Maybe you're strumming like this without a pick. There's still a difference between thumb and nails, right? This is brighter than this. Especially if you go hard, that difference is gonna be very noticeable. Versus, right? It feels more percussive with my nails. So yeah, do that exploration. That was on downstrokes. So on downstrokes you can use pick, thumb, or nails on these fingers. Now on upstrokes, what you can do is, if you're using your pick, well, it will have the sound of your pick, like that. It can be slow, it can be fast, or you can also play around with nail on your thumb, or use the tip of these fingers to get a darker sound. Right? There's a difference between doing this and this, or well, this one sounds kind of the same. But yeah, fingers versus nail. Has a very, very different sound to it. Check this out. I'm gonna use just fingers for the same strumming I was doing on kind of that strumming from Wonderwall. So that's just fingers versus just nails. See how brighter it gets right away, but by just changing from to. Now if we add the pick into the mix, we get a more defined and brighter sound. So yeah, there's a difference between what surface are you using to touch the strings. Lastly, on that end, this pick I'm using like right now is a thick one. If we use a thinner one, we will get more sound of the strings and the attack. This is a more thinner and flexible one. I can bend it, the other one I can't. So you can hear more of that string sound when using a thinner pick. So if you're, I don't know, playing something acoustic, for example, that you really want that strumming to sound and be bright, I would recommend a thinner pick. On the other hand, if you want a thicker sound, go to a thicker pick. I can think of, I don't know, Drive by Incubus that has a lot of strumming, or songs from the first Coldplay album, Sparks. No, Parachutes is the name of the album. Or even the latter ones, I don't know, Yellow from Coldplay has a lot of that stringy sound to it. You can really hear that, like the attack on the strings. It was probably played with a thinner pick. So those are important things to take into account because they will vary from context to context. So I feel doing that exploration will really open up your range of possibilities on how to apply the same technique on different scenarios. With that said, any questions so far, guys? Or any comments? If so, please let us know. Also, let's do just a little reminder for you guys to please consider joining the Academy if you're liking this lesson that we're hosting today. We do this kind of stuff every day on the Academy. We do classes on specific topics or on whatever topic as well. In case you have any specific questions, you can just ask us when you're a member to the Academy, and we're here for you to answer anything you might need. And we also do personalized assessments on your goals, and we just try to see how we can help you out the better. So in case you're looking for that in your guitar journey, consider clicking the link I just left on both chats. With that said, let's continue. So what other ideas do you have on strumming, Miguel?
Yeah, so, well, I would like to add that all that we did so far, we focus a lot on the right hand, but I would suggest you to try it with songs that you might already know. Try different patterns of this that we just checked. So usually a couple of patterns will work, just nice in the same song. It's not that there's just one pattern that will work. For example, you can use this down, down, up, down, for example. I was using first the down, down, up, down, down, up, down, and then I used down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down. So just to try different patterns, or in the context of a song, a real song, and also with the chord changes, because especially when we add a lot of subdivision, making the chord change right in time, it becomes more important or more noticeable. Instead of we're playing just long chords, we have more time in order to play our chord changes. So try it on songs with chord changes of songs you might already know, so you can practice all this and not only just scratching. But now that we went through the basic mechanics of the strumming, a couple of patterns, some syncopation, also the sound, that I found it really interesting how, playing with different picks or with your fingers, with nails, without nails, you can change a lot the sound of the strumming and of the guitar. Yeah, not only for strumming but also then for soloing, single note picking. So now it will be good to take a look at how can we start, let's say, improvising our strumming pattern. So getting exactly outside of those patterns, so we can maybe vary whatever pattern we're using, and so it benefits more the song. You can give it different moods to the strumming, to the accompaniment that you're playing. So one way that I would suggest to start practicing this, it will be starting again with this, playing continuous, downs and ups, your ones, your twos, your threes, your fours, and your ands, so everything in between, the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and kind of randomly stop playing the strings, but keeping this motion of down, up, down, up, down, up, and then whenever you want, you can come back to the strings, and then you go off the strings, go back, off, back. You can skip maybe 2 notes, 1 note, kind of randomly, right? So that will help you, getting used to this motion and getting used to not playing some notes, playing some others. And you can practice this same exercise again with a backing track, or maybe better with a real song, that you like. So for example, here's another, or maybe not that one. Let's try, for example, this. So finding my downbeats. First step, then all my downs and ups. So 1 and 2. So this is our first step. Now I'm going to go out of the guitar. I keep this moving. I keep playing at the same speed, so keeping the same time on my downs. So I can come back whenever I want. I go off the strings, go back. And then I will suggest start listen to those accents. You might come up with a rhythm, maybe you can sing it. For example, that kind of come natural to me. And maybe you can try to fit that in these downs and ups. And that's kind of where the magic happens, because you don't have to think of, okay, is this down, down, up, down, or is what kind of pattern, what strumming direction is it? So whatever the rhythm it is, wherever it falls with this, that's what it's going to decide if it's a down or if it's an up. So let's say I hear so I'm just trying to imitate that rhythm. So but I'm not thinking of if it's down or if it's a down, because this is very solid, no? And that's the next step. That's what we call the organic strumming, that you choose, you know, whatever notes you want to accentuate, what you want to play. And for example, if we try with a chord, so I'm not playing any pattern, but I keep moving my right and my strumming hand with this down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So you can first try it scratching over the song, trying to copy the rhythms that you hear, maybe from the guitar, if there's a guitar in the song, maybe following the accents that you hear with the drums, with the bass, and trying to come up with a strumming pattern that can fit the song, and like that, not being tied to a specific strumming pattern. Then you can take liberties, and for example, you know, maybe for the second verse you want to change the pattern. Maybe you were playing this, so maybe for the second verse you want to do something more intimate. Longer chords. And maybe now going back to the chorus, you want to add more. So you can play with the dynamics, playing louder, playing softer, playing more subdivision, less subdivision, and suddenly your accompaniment that was always the same pattern, you know, becomes a lot more rich, a lot more alive, and you can, you know, play together with the dynamics of the vocals, you know, the drums, and start creating an arrangement and making decisions more musically, more, let's say, more creative, more artistic in a way, rather than just following a pattern, right? So that would be, you know, my suggestion for kind of taking this to a next step from playing patterns, getting used to this motion. And I will also suggest you, now that you know that this exists, that this is the kind of like the secret to the strumming, whenever you watch a video of maybe a musician that you like, maybe you go watch live music, pay attention to that, to their strumming hand, and I can guarantee you will see this. No matter the genre or what rhythm they're playing, you will see this down up in their strumming hand. So then you can see that we're not lying. Cool. So that, and what do you think about that one? What?
Yep, agree 100% on try your own rhythms. Check this out. This is another one of the tracks that we have here. So first, just get used to the beat. Try to find what's the beat, what can you tap, dance along to. Strum that. Then find your 8 notes in this case. Now, start to play around with singing some patterns on top of this. It could be like very consciously singing them, or also randomly taking away some of the strums that you're doing. So, ta, 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 ta. one for the new section. A new one for the new section. Patterns mid-song also adds a level of variety and song structure to it. So yeah, I would say play around with these different combinations. Also, for me, as a general rule, if I want to make something sound a little bit more powerful, I will go straight into just downstrokes. Just that makes it sound very grounded, as opposed to a floaty feel that I get out of. Right, it's very different to do just this. Upstrokes makes it a little bit more floaty and loose. So I would play around with this expression of that as well. But yeah, the point being, try to be intuitive with the approach. Although we're going very mechanical on analyzing on what direction are we going, what's the strum we're doing. Try to be very intuitive and melodic with it. Try to sing them as well. I feel rhythm patterns are very singable. And if you can really sing one, it's because it's a groovy one. So yeah, try that out to just explore different patterns over a backing track, or to randomly take away some of the strummings you're doing. That will take you a long, long way. With that said, I also wanted to mention something, and it is muting. So far we have covered scratching just as an exercise, right? Just strumming without a specific chord, just muting the strings right here, just as an exercise. But that's an actual technique. So for instance, that happens in funk a lot. What I would say, in case you want to get into this kind of music, or reggae as well, that happens a lot in reggae, is just as a technique exercise, try this. Going back and forth, strumming and scratching. So basically, if you have any chord, play it and then lift your fingers not completely off the fretboard, so you're actually touching the strings, just muting them. But the point is that you won't have any open string sounds. You will have just this dead sound. Okay, so try to play a chord, mute it. Play it, mute it. Look, this already sounds very musical. Adding a little bit more. And we already have a song. With 2 chords and a strumming pattern, we wrote a riff. So yeah, that's useful for those kind of music. I'm sure on different styles of music this will be useful as well. But yeah. Right, that scratching technique will be useful, so try to get a hold of that one. Also play around with sustain. Different music genres will have different sustain tendencies. For instance, if you're playing pop or ballads, it's very common for that music to have these long chords. You won't hear it like this. Right, but it's very long. As opposed to, for instance, if I play swing, right, I'm muting. I'm lifting my fingers, so I don't actually play. But I'm doing staccato. That means that I just play short notes. I play the chord and lift my fingers to mute it. Right? So that depends on the style. Sustain will change depending on what you're playing. Also, another one I wanted to mention was this kind of, I don't know what's the name of this, but kind of a percussive muted strum that you do with your right hand. That happens a lot in pop and rock music. This kind of, I don't know what's the name of that. Maybe, do you, Miguel?
No, it's just like a. I don't know if it has a name, but it is like a percussive sound, and it's really nice, especially in acoustic guitar or for singer songwriters, because it adds that percussive element to the accompaniment. That especially if you're playing alone, just a guitar, maybe without drums or any percussive instrument. For example, something like this. So it adds that kind of drum-like feel that that like the snare drum. But for example, there, even though I'm playing that kind of muted sound that I'm playing at the same time, the strum, flicking my fingers against the strings, I'm muting the strings at the same time. It's not that easy. It's something that requires a lot of practice and coordination, especially playing the up right after, because you're right next to the string, so it can be a little bit difficult. But it's definitely a really nice technique. For example. So yeah, then a lot of it, now the strumming world kind of expands a lot. And I was thinking also some rhythm like ska, that it's pretty much only upstroke.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's basically exactly. I would even say muted downstroke and upstroke. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Right, but you still have that down, up, down. And then, like, pretty much like everything in life and in the world, you will find exceptions, right? So we talk a lot about keeping this down, up, but as Juan said, we have to keep it natural and and organic. And sometimes you will hear, I don't know, things like maybe 3 downs in a row that following this rule should be down, up, down, right? But maybe the accent, it is different to play a downstroke that an upstroke. It feels different. You can give it a different intensity to the sound. So also don't feel like this is a rule set in stone that you have to follow 100% of the time. If the song asks for it, you can definitely play things like that, or getting outside this general rule that we explained today.
Yep. Now the last thing I would like to mention regarding this kind of muted strumming is that we can do it as a downstroke, but also as an upstroke. That is still very challenging for me. I end up getting these sounds, but I sometimes can play it. Especially there's a kind of rhythm that we use here on my country, on Colombia, which is on 6/8. That means that if we alternate, we'll get kind of an uneven pattern, because we do down, up, down. That's a group of 3, and the next group of 3 starts with an up. So right, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So if we mute the first one of each group of 3, we get 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. That's hard for me, like really hard, but sometimes I can do it. Sometimes I can't. I would need to practice that.
Yeah, that's pretty hard. That's pretty hard.
But yeah, that exists. So in case you guys want to check that one out just out of curiosity, or know songs that use that kind of pattern, yeah, try that out. That exploration on how do I do this versus how do I get to that same technique but upwards. Yeah, that's still hard for me. I haven't quite gone the feel for that, but sometimes I get away with that. So yeah, I think that's everything I have to say regarding this today. How do you feel with that, guys? Or Miguel, do you have anything to add to the lesson?
No, not much. I think yeah, we covered all the basics, and we gave you guys quite a few exercises to try. You know, from the very basics to all these muting techniques that are quite more advanced. So yeah, you should be all set up to start strumming. You know, like professionals. So
Yeah, you
yeah,
should be
thanks,
mastering
guys.
strumming by tomorrow. Okay, so guys, yeah, with that in mind, thank you very much for joining, for your time. One last time, we're just gonna share the link over here on both chats in case you want to consider joining our academy. We are just two of the instructors that we have over here, but as far as I know, we are eight, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, all of us have different backgrounds, different teaching styles, different personalities. So I'm sure some of us will be a very good fit for you on your process, either if you like metal or rock or pop or blues or jazz, whatever the kind of music you like or the skills you need to work on. We are here for you. So yeah, if that's something that you would like to consider for your guitar journey, getting personalized help, just please consider clicking those links, and we'll be happy to just chat with you about your goals and see how we can help you out and if our academy is the right fit for you. With that said, again, thank you all very much for joining. Thank you, Miguel, also for your insight and your time. And
Thank
I
you,
hope
Juan.
you all have a great weekend, okay? And see you around on our next classes next week.